Now we're cooking with Mary Mammoliti.
Hi, and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Mary Mammoliti, and today we are making a sheet pan chicken and tzatziki, a 30-minute recipe. So let's begin with, in front of me, I've got all my ingredients already measured out, pre-cut, but I've got a couple of chopping techniques that I do want to show you. So we're gonna start with our chicken. I have about a pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast that I've cut into strips. The beauty about this, there's also a cheat, is you can buy these already pre-cut. So you don't have to worry about slicing and dicing for yourself. Put that in a bowl, and now we're gonna add all our ingredients to this to get it marinating. Let's start with 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, a tablespoon of Greek seasoning. So this is a premix that you can buy at the grocery store. And we're gonna pour this in, add in a teaspoon of kosher salt. I've got 3 cloves of garlic, we've minced that, and we're adding that into the bowl with the chicken and all the other spices. We're gonna use our tongs and we're gonna mix all this up in the bowl so we get our chicken nicely coated with all this marinade. I know it's raw meat, but the smell is unbelievable. You're getting that lemon, those spices. Now we're gonna set this aside and we're gonna start on our tzatziki sauce. And the reason why is because while our chicken and our peppers and onions and everything's baking in the oven, we can have this marinating as well. I have a bowl in front of me with pre-measured 3/4 cup of full-fat plain Greek yogurt. We're gonna add a whole bunch of ingredients to this. We're gonna start with 2 tablespoons of, again, freshly squeezed lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 garlic clove minced, add that in. And this is my favorite, fresh dill. About a tablespoon of chopped fresh dill, we'll add that in. If you don't have fresh dill, you can also use dried dill. Let's put in about a half teaspoon of kosher salt into this. I like to put a little bit of fresh crushed pepper. But before we mix this all up, we've got one more ingredient that we're gonna add, and that is fresh cucumber. So I've got an English cucumber, half of it, that I'm going to use with my box grater and grate that right into the bowl. The other half we're gonna use as part of the meal, and we're gonna dice that up. So I'm just placing the box grater right over the bowl and grating this cucumber right in. And now we're gonna give this a mix. Okay, it's all incorporated, and we're gonna set this aside now, and then we're gonna go to our bell peppers. I've got 3 bell peppers. I've got a yellow, an orange, and a red. There are many ways to chop up your bell peppers, but what I find the easiest way, and what you can do at home, is take your bell pepper, place the bottom of the pepper onto your cutting board, stem side up, hold it with both hands, and then just slice it through and cut it in half, just like that. So everything inside, how you're gonna remove that is using your fingers. Just go in and tear it out and remove the stem and the seeds, and now it's ready for you to chop up. That's one way of doing it. That's probably the easiest and the safest way to do it. If you're comfortable with a knife, what you can do is chop off the top, slice off the bottom, and then just put a little slice on one side of the pepper, and then rolling your knife, just placing it directly onto the outer layer of the pepper and just cut that membrane right out. Now to chop the pepper. I want you to place the smooth side of the pepper onto the cutting board, and then with your knife, you want to secure it to the cutting board with your other hand, and with your knife, just run the knife along, cutting it into strips. Now we're gonna add in 1 small onion, and we're gonna slice this up. I have a larger onion, so I'm just taking half of it. I've taken the outer layer off, I've sliced it in half, and now I'm gonna cut it into strips. So we're gonna add these sliced onions into the bowl with the sliced peppers. In here, we're gonna add kosher salt. I'm gonna get a drizzle of olive oil and then give it a mix. Now you can use your hands, you can use a spoon, whatever you'd like at home. I'm gonna use my hands. Just find it a little easier and get this all coated. So we've got our oven preheating to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got a rimmed baking sheet in front of me and I've lined that with parchment paper. So we're gonna pour in our pepper and onion mixture into half of this prepared pan. And on the other half, we're going to put our marinated chicken. We're gonna add this baking sheet into the oven and bake it for 15 minutes. I've brought over a couple of bowls. In these bowls, we have diced cucumber, creamy crumbled feta, some Kalamata olives, which I absolutely love, nice and salty. And then, remember the tzatziki we made at the beginning? I have that in the bowl here. On the other side of my counter, I brought over some naan bread that we're gonna place everything inside of. Oh, did you hear that? Chicken's done. The smell is unbelievable. I'm gonna cut the naan bread in half, and then I'm gonna start off with putting the peppers and onions at the bottom. A couple of pieces of chicken in here. Top it off with some cucumbers and a little tzatziki. Give it a try. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Bon appetit.